So in this is just talking about the grip and the hilt length. Okay. So when I do a horizontal hip with a low body cut, right? It's literally like that.
Yeah.
Right. So my hands are still where they were. Okay. In kendo, because of the length of the hilt for this, right? Okay. The way they do that cut, and there's movement and stuff too, but literally it's see how the hands come together.
Interesting. So it's not snapping.
No.
Huh.
No. So the whole technique is, so you're gonna let me, I'm not gonna hurt you,
Yeah.
you're gonna let me, right? It's come up and go, right? That's the point. I'm not sure I'm gonna hurt you. I mean, that's how you earn a point. Hey, I got a point.
Was it a cut or was it a?
It's no, it's a cut.
It's like a slice. Interesting.
Yeah.
Versus when they do the head or
Well, I mean, it's a snap too.
Yeah.
Right? It's definitely a pop, but it's a pop with a slide. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And if I just do this, it's not a point. You don't know hit
You have to have the
Yeah.
draw. The draw.
You have to have a draw. Yeah. But the reason why that's fundamentally very important because that's how you have to get that point in kendo. But if we're fighting and we're close, right, and we're talking about Mailfechten in my school, right? If I do this, it's hard to get that, right? Okay. But if I do this,
You hit me in the cut.
I hit it.
Which I'm glad.
What was that all about right there? Is somebody in the door knocking? So anyway, that's a very infrequent use in my school of a hand grip change, of an intermediate advanced grip use, right?
But that was because of range.
Because of range. Because of range. Yeah. Okay, so I want to do, let's see, those two things. What was that? Oh, yeah, so super quick. So you guys have all heard like the argument about using flats to make block or parry versus not. Okay. Have you actually tried that with steel swords? Have you tried that with steel swords? You have, right? So you probably know where I'm going. Who's got like the biggest steel swords here? Perfect. I'm getting my gauntlets.
That'll be great. There's no argument.
Friedrich, you know I like you a lot, right?
Do you have your cup yet?
I don't.
It's good for both of us to know.
So this is just an abject observational lesson, okay? Because always remember that any block is a good block, right? Because you still stay alive, right? So you want to, yeah. So you guys have all probably had, if nothing more than just played around with steel swords and tried to do blocks and stuff. And a lot of times it's edge on, right? And so you not only destroy the edge, right? But also what happens is it puts a lot of shock in your hand. It kind of doesn't control your opponent's blade at all. And the shock of it is just not good. Like medievally, if the sword wasn't the best sword, one of them might have gotten cracked in it or, you know, done the Hollywood, right? So you're gonna swing here on my head, right? Okay. So blah blah blah. So I come up here and I make a flat block. Okay? But what happens is when, so there's a lot in this, I don't want to take the time right now, but fundamentally what happens, so you guys know harmonic balance of swords? You guys are aware of all of that, right? See where that does the move? Right, that's harmonic balance, right? What happens is when I make a block on the edge, it just stops it and transfers all that into the sword and not into my hand. But if I make a flat block, so you're gonna swing so you can have fingers closing, right? And swing it down and harder. See how harder. See how I'm almost like blasé about trying to stop that big giant sword, right? Because I am, because when you block, when it gets hit, see all that vibration up here? Right? All the force of stopping his kinetic energy that he's delivering with that sword, that hits my sword, most of it is stopped by the harmonic movement of that sword, not by me physically having to stop it. Okay? So that's one point that's really phenomenally important about blocking on flats. Additionally, again, there's a whole thing I can do, but additionally, because I want to see this into your fighting range, is when I block on a flat, go ahead, it's very slight, right? Okay, so if I want to do a fighting block, go ahead. See how, and he's not even swinging full speed. See how it almost went away? As opposed to like doing it on the edge. Right? See how it kind of sticks? And if they're both sharp, it's really sticky. Right? Even if it's not doing much damage, it's two edges sticking at each other. Right? Okay? So flats allow us to control and manipulate our opponent's sword better. Okay? So we go, okay, well let's, how does that work with rattan? Not so much, right? But the more we practice trying to figure out how to use the flats, right? Remember I was saying block on a flat? Or at least I was telling Dave that. When I'm here and trying to manipulate my opponent's sword, so we'll get into parries later, but that's a different hand position and a control mechanism, even with a round or a flat-sided, semi-round piece of rattan. That's different than here. Okay. So the last piece that I want to talk about how to block, okay, is so you just got to swing at the top of my head, right? Okay. So now, if it's vertical and it's coming down straight at my head, yeah, I can try to make that block. That can work sometimes, right? Okay. It might even have a nice slide or whatever. Later we'll talk about opponent blocks, okay? But right now, this standard block is I'm going to receive it at about 45. Right, so now my control of center is my point. It's my opponent. Right? See that? Okay. So again, swing my head straight down. So I'm here or in here. Okay? Alright? That's how we're blocking the vertical. So this one, maybe that one. The less they come off, the more they come off vertical, the more we're just able to block standard. Okay? But that's that straight down block.
So just, you got it coming up.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. And again, we're blocking on the four, not on the foil. On the strong. Alright?
Does everybody understand what the difference between the strong and the weak part of the blade is?
No?
Especially when it comes to blocks.
Yeah, okay, so this comes into play more so in like CMT and our rapier, okay? Because we're using steel swords and we're using steel weaponry that's made to not be brutally honest. Okay? So meaning they're more flexible. This is an F3 if you know the F abbreviation for flex. And, you know, well, this is an F3.5. F3 got to bend so much with weight to be legal for a rapier. F4, I believe, is not as flexible. You can only use in CMT. The odd thing about that is that you can still thrust in CMT. So that interpretation is in my mind. Whatever. Guys who do CMT are a little bit more used to being hit, or whatever. But so fundamentally, when here we go. So the foible is like here up, like tip, foible. Foible is the weak. The reason it's the weak because if I get my strong on his weak,
It's just
right, I easily control him.
And I'm pushing.
And he's pushing hard.
And it's doing nothing.
Yeah, because of the length away from his strength in his hand, and because of the reflection or the flex of that blade. Okay? The fork is the strong, right? So we're now here. Now
And I'm
not
not using
trying.
it. Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, if I were to let go of this, it would do this.
Smack.
Right? So that's strong and weak. Okay? We don't use strong and weak as much in rattan, mostly because we don't have flex in our rattan. If you do, you need to make a new sword. But we do use strong and weak from a viewpoint of, back in the day when I first started, it was if you make any kind of a block, even if it hits you after, it's no good. Remember those days? Yeah. But that really has been changed now. 20 years or something where it's like, even if you make a block, if it gets through it with enough power that you're like, well, I would have taken that if I didn't block it, well, then you need to take it, right? So if Frieder blocks my power cut on the strong, there's no way that's getting to him, right? If he blocks it on the weak, I might have enough extension and power to continue through and cut it.
It just moves on that. So far.
Yes, but because of the strength of the hand, right? So everybody just go rub up, right? So resist. Resist. Any different? Right. Resist. Right. Yeah. Right. Everybody gets that? Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. So generally, it's where you put your sword when you're using it that makes your application be on the strong or the weak, for good or bad. Okay, question. If you guys could somebody pull these tells out for me. Yeah, I'll probably put like one in this section over here.
You want us to leave it?
Yeah, that way it's got one group to go one place, one to go the other. So I'm going to show an example, and then I want everybody to do that. Okay, and then I'll do another example, and then we'll do that, and then another one, we'll do that, etc. Okay, but so the first thing I want everybody to do, once you've watched me do it, and I'll do it here, and then I'll go over and I'll do it. So you guys put that, some good things. By the way, if you're ever really want to learn how somebody is doing a thing, right? Say you're watching Hulu do a thing, right? And you're like, ah, man, he's showing me how to do that, but I still don't get it. But you really want to learn it, right? Whether you've been showing it or you just did and you're on the first step of the staircase to do that, watch him doing it from the front against somebody, and then the angles, and then the sides, and then the back. Taking all that data, put it into the machine, formalize it, and then that'll help you understand. But so we're going to stand at the pedal, right? And we're just going to do that cut. Okay? Really simple. We're using the bottom hand, I call the power hand in the cut. The top hand is the guide. That doesn't mean that the top hand doesn't also apply power. The bottom hand is generally applying power. Most importantly, the top hand is the guide. Okay? So we're going to just stand here. We're going to have that flexible grip we were talking about. I call it scissors because you know when you use scissors, one comes this way, one pushes that way. Also the snap cut, you can use whatever terms you want. But if I say scissors or snap, that's not what I'm talking about. And just go to the belt and just now, fundamentally, I'm not even trying to that's like probably 5 with a big sword. Right? I'm not quite hard enough. It's not the 8 that I would maybe hit me with. Right? But you know, if you're fighting sword and shield guy, and all I want is a 6. I don't get much, a little bit more drop, a little more power, a little more chest in that snap. Sorry. And if I go higher, right? I mean, if I come up here and then snap, I didn't use much body at all. Now that was a solid 8 or 9, right? Okay. So do it over here. You guys can start doing that. I just want you to get your steps, make sure that, and whoever's the best at doing this over here, Jamie, if these guys need a little bit of instruction, get those. Yeah, so again, this is just how that snap now works. Point back, right? And then now we're starting to get a little body, but we're still using that snap. Okay, go ahead. So we're building on this, right? Okay. So now we're going to do just the body turning cut. We're not gonna. We'll use a little bit of snap, but basically just go to plow, right? Like put forward right hand high, or reverse the dagging, or whatever you do. But turn away. Now we're in that stance. We're in a good plow guard. We've ranged, you know, so if we have to, we don't have to, right? And then what happens is, and I want everybody to see this. This is really, really important, is there is what I call in my school small circle cutting and large circle cutting. Okay? Small circle cutting is, I'll show this to you and then I'll show you, but and it's a good angle anyway, is, and the circle is what's described if I were to put literally a sparkler and take it to the tip, and then the tip makes this circle in air. And the sparkler just helps you see it, right? oh, right? Okay. So small circle, right? Right. If I'm playing here, small circle, or large circle, right? Generally, we always want to cut a small circle because we have to create some circle to start to impart energy into the sword. But the small circle allows it to be less telegraphed and get to the target fast. Large circle, you can generate even more power, but it takes a long time to get somewhere, right? If you're using that to manipulate your opponent's mind, create agitation or doubt or surprise or whatever, if I'm here and I want to get that really low angle, right? I can't do that low angle like that with a small circle. Because I'd be here and, I have to go here. And suppose that, right? Okay. Well, we want to, for the cutting, we just want a small circle. So you watch, when I start to turn my hips, my hands come forward, and I'm allowing that circle to start. Okay? And then extend. Okay? Extension, by the way, is really fundamentally important on any kind of cutting. And fundamental extension means that you've used your arms in a way that's extended out away from your body in a fashion that puts the sword and the range of that weapon at its maximum, correct range. Okay? Yeah, we can do things like here without extension. But right now, we want to use full extension. Okay? So. Here. These are five.
Remember to keep it forward when you're starting.
This is 1, 2, 3, left side. 2, 3.
So we're not starting from.
Yeah, sorry. You're snapping too much.
Too much before this.
Yes. So this is just practicing using your body to deliver the power. Okay, there's going to be a little snap in it because it just is right? But this is making sure that you're connecting your body turn to create a power generation through your body, up through your hands and out to your feet. So if I was you, I would
It's not like I was in that position when you see two
I don't know how to really actually describe in our village. Right. So
what I want to do
so with that, right?
Same thing.
I can answer. I can grab the blade, right? Can I grab the pole?
Yes. Any blade that because you are the one who's really out. You can.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So
At that range, I would.
the technique you probably won't use much for this.
Big unflexible man. Going from here to
Something's coming over here.
A lot that I could just.
Wow.
For me, it's been some.
Because this is something that most guys are like, and I'm a giant. And I'm a giant. That's a totally different class, but that's why I'm excited. Is that measured? Yeah. See what I mean, Alex? It's an illumination. So stand real close to it.
It's a drawing.
The reason you miss it, the reason you miss like that isn't because you have stupid, right? It's because your form is poor. The reason why your form is poor is because in your mind you're trying to hit with your hand. Okay, that's why tips come on. You push with your hand. The hand is not supposed to straight in line with that long regular way, right? Right?
I always tell kids,
let your body lead you. So up here, it's like you are still crossing your hands. So behind the same not back here. See how the see how this brings you to yeah, scientific explanation. Yeah. This is what I turn your body when you're doing ish. Yes. Vertical cut. And by the way, one of the preeminent philosophies of the school is the 8 ways of cutting and the 8 ways of moving and the 8 ways of defending. Okay? The easiest way to describe that right now for cutting is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then however you want to do the thing we never do. That's it. Okay? It's also really hard to get that with a two-handed sword. Right? But to get the verticals from mid-yard or from plow, to get that vertical to hit the guy in the head or catch that soft spot, right where it says your armor, soft spot right here, right? There's that joint at the neck with that detail. They use that a lot. That was the weak point when you're cutting. But from here, I have to raise up and then turn and snap.
So do you ever do the kendo style, like if you're here, push up kind of thing?
I don't, because that wouldn't do anything to my opponent, right? If I wanted to feint a cut and then thrust, sure, right? I might do this and then.
So you don't mind you can get enough power?
I can't. You might be able to. You're more of a dwarf shaped guy.
Accurate.
Yeah. But since we're talking, you're asking a question. You have some movement. No, it's not. So long guard. So forearm cut, right? So forearm cut is that kind of what you were just describing, a slightly different technical use of the delivery, right? But so I might come in here, and then right there. Okay. Most of that's going to be a snap, and it's going to be against that armor with just a snap. You might not be able to. Okay.
It gives them a little more travel time to get some power.
That's why I'm trying to get that little extra power. Yeah. As opposed to being here and doing that push kind of cut. Yeah. This takes me to another point I just want to talk about is when we're cutting, when you're using a sword to cut at your opponent who has a sword, or any kind of weapon really, but basically a two-handed sword or a polearm or something like that, especially, the horizontals are the easiest to block, right? These reads just like this. Hey, this is up and down, so side to side is easier to block, right? Just by geometry, right? Okay. So when we're tactically thinking about how we're going to use our weapon to strike more at our opponent, we also have to have in the back of our minds what I call parallel cutting. Parallel cutting means I'm trying to parallel with my own, right? So if I'm here, I want to, if I cut there, see how that plane that cut, plane that cut, right? You know what I mean by that?
Yes.
Big piece of plexiglass, it's a big 360-degree circle, right? In this case, I'm going to use 120 degrees of it, but it's this big plane, right? But it's parallel-ish to his weapon, right? I might go here and do that, and as he goes to block it, right, more parallel. This was getting him to do this, and that was the feint, and he ran an attack. Okay, but anyway, I digress. So we're just going to practice vertical cuts. Generally, I don't like to try to hit this, although when I want to get real accurate, I will. But lift, right? Okay? Go ahead, do that real quick.
Are you lifting up from the knees as well, or just from?
Hand.
Just hands, that's what I'm.
So I'm here, and as I go forward, get a little closer, and then you do it as you come up, then up, too much, up here. Not up.
Gotcha. Up here.
You do the body as well.
Okay.
Answer your exact question. Keep asking. Okay. But when we're moving and swinging simultaneously, right? The foot as it lands, the power should be at the same time.
It's not nearly as far away.
So from here, when this finishes landing, hit, land, that creates the most opportunity for power and correctness and balance.
So then the following leg might still be in motion.
Yes.
The front leg.
Yes.
Lands.
Yes, absolutely. The gather is after that.
Yeah.
100%. Right. So even when we get to the pass, even the pass, watch this foot as I pass.
You're still gathering.
And then that gather. Yeah. Okay? Yeah.
That stance. Stay up.
That's better. So you adjusted from the first one, you're like, that wasn't quite. Yeah, right. And that's perfect. That's what we do. Yeah. Better. Yeah, see the difference? Right? I mean, fundamentally, it wasn't really that way. It's all over. Yeah. And then we're trying to do something. If we seek perfection, 90% of a thing that's almost perfect is still phenomenally awesome, right? Yeah. But if we never practice the perfect, right, you're only practicing the 90%, which means when you don't do that, the 90%, you're at 80%.
Right. And when you drop 15 for real world practice.
Yeah. Right. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Or you're stepping back in. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Right. So we're gonna do that next.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do it.
No. So that's okay. That's the so. I'll be marketing some of these hills probably in 3 months.
I want to build one of these.
Yeah, we can build it. And I can get you like some of the specs. So you guys know a little bit, right? So just like Alex was doing a minute ago, the passing step. So it's as you pass, like we were practicing, and you did, right? And then here, or if he's blocked and he's like, oh my God, I almost died, and he backs up, right? Little hard to do that on a pellet. By the way, if you ever want to practice moving and striking at things like a pellet, I learned years ago, I go with my dad's back 40 in the woods, and make a path around a bunch of trees, and then all the trees and on both sides of the path and the front and the back, just move around, just have all kinds of things. As long as you're not killing the trees, or as long as you're not find out. If we're passing this way, right, this is the front foot, so say I'm here.
Like that's easy.
Now, a lot of that in terms of where you are, and then the fight where you are trying to
Yes, it
I'm not
does.
going to because they're not going to be standing still.
Right, yeah, so
But you started.
I get, because that's the fundamental way to do it, right? But so, if you and I are playing, right, I might come in here, right? About time, I do this, and then I go over here, right? And I've done this to you, and you made a nice block a couple times, so I know you know what I'm doing there. So I come in here. And you step around, because it's parallel.
That's why we're using it.
And by the way, I was moving pretty fast, but barely touched you because I had the control that right. That comes with that control comes with experience. It's a perfect form. Yeah. That passing stuff is. So we're doing passing stuff. Yeah. Or that's all I'm showing now. Right? Pass that. There's multiple things you can do, right? Full speed. So now that wasn't quite hitting there because of what I had to do with the time.
Because otherwise we'll run into that.
Would you like us to practice forward first, or can we go ahead and do that offline? We got a little bit. I'm saying, should we practice the passing step straight at your target first?
Oh.
Or can you go ahead and go to the more useful?
Go to the more useful one. If I'm going to thrust with a passing step, it's going to be right in the corner.
But it's almost never.
It's very rare that I'm doing this, although I might do it vertical. So they're both useful to practice, but
But if you can do the side,
Step back, and then you turn to face me.
Slower is better.
keep the eyes on the slowly into the shot.
I filled up the other one. So finish that one. Finish your other one. The one you emptied. Oh, good.
You didn't move away.
So then you want to overstand because you're
just with the
I come around, yeah. Like,
And then
baby step is fine. I'm usually trying to get around something.
try to closer to your
So,
body.
I understand what you're saying.
Sure.
Because you don't need the, this is a lot.
I'm thinking about shields.
Whole different story.
Yes.
And the next second point, even if you get the 5, then they have to react to it. Right? You need to looks much more bad.
Oh,
So he looks pretty graceful there, but only one of his feet is ever really down on the ground at one time. Do you have a thought on staying balanced and like
Well-
getting back to like neutral, or does it really matter?
Yes.
Contextual.
So, think of like driving an NASCAR like around the track, like a Formula One track, right? Where you got a lot of hairpin turns and a lot of S curves and things like that. The perfect way to do that is always center line to that track, and you go as fast as you can. And of course, you can cut the corners and all that stuff too, right? Okay. But that never really happens because you're pushing that speed envelope, right? So it's losing a little bit of traction, but you're gaining time.
Okay.
Okay. So when you're using your footwork, the fundamental, most important thing is always maintaining balance, right? And you're kind of alluding to that. And the way you maintain balance or correct balance, right, is
Especially when he's gonna be chased down by sort of shield guys, but your feet are gonna go get you. It's gonna save you.
This is pretty heavy helmet, right? So as long as I'm moving in balance and center, right, it's not that heavy. I haven't had to adjust for anything, right? And this is a good way to practice it, actually. Right? You get 10 pound, 20 pound weights and just put them in your center. But if I lean forward, right, there's literally, the way you fix that, right, is you do a passing step to get your butt back over your center. That's the most important thing. You've always got your hips and your butt over your center line, your vertical center. You can also drop your back leg, pull it back, right?
So what I hear you saying is the outcome matters more than any specifics that your feet are doing, as long as your feet are doing acceptable, safe things.
And as long as you're never falling over or losing balance. Yes, absolutely. That's the primary fundamental. There's perfect, and there's being in your center and doing that better and better and better with proper here, you know, getting my eyes closed, right? Right? This one's supposed to touch you, this one's not. Okay? So does that answer your question? I think so. So real quick before we break for lunch, we haven't talked thrusts. Okay, thrusts in Mailfechten are they're very important, but generally speaking, they're mostly face thrusts because if I'm trying to deliver a really hard body thrust and I miss. Yeah, I'm kind of as well if my opponent knows what he's doing, right? So, and if you guys don't think you need to practice this because it's pretty basic, then we can just go to lunch, but I want to show it, okay? So from brother, because it's the thrust, right? And so as I step forward, extend. Right? Yeah, I can do that with a hard body thrust too, but look where the sword is now. If he makes that block, I'm like, oh. If he makes this block, so a lot closer to what I do. Okay? So, but very, very important about thrusting is the body, again, creates the thrust, not the hand. I'm not doing this. Okay? I'm not doing that. One, kind of looks stupid, but most importantly is weak. And it's harder to get a target. So what I'm doing is I'm stepping forward, this forward step. See how it keeps me on line? Right? Okay. If I'm here and I'm doing a passing step with a thrust, I'm still using my hips to generate. See how I push it? So my hand, I missed that because my hand pushed it a little too much that way. Right? Remember, your hand is made to hold a sword like that. You know, this is my opponent. I'm not thrusting this guy. Right? If I'm thrusting that guy, you know, right? And then I push it like that way. Right? So here, body. Right? Extension occurs, there's guidance occurring, but it's the body that's controlling that target. Okay? Same thing with a rapier. It's the body. Right? It's the body. Right? In the SCA, they used to do it on that little hand pump and stuff. Yeah, man, a touch is a touch. You know. So just brother here, okay? If you want to do a passing, it's here. My top hand is pronated. Supinated is a little harder. Right. Just a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. The intermediate and advanced face thrust is the one we've all gotten or you've seen people do. Right? So why do we do that? We do that because I'm really far away. So if the parents said, I'm so far away, because one-handed, it's also fast, it's unexpected. Right? Surprise. Right? Okay? Again, I changed this. I'm right-handed, so my right hand is easier to do that, right? But if I'm here, left-handed, right? Right? In ox, sometimes you do a thrust too, right? Not a super fan of that. I think because it's hard not to do that harder than it's supposed to be. Because you're kind of coming in here, right? I mean, it's really hard to be like, oh, I'm just gonna touch him, right? You know what I mean? So.
It's easy to drop the weight.
Yeah. So that's the thrust thing. Okay? And I think we're all kind of coming out of doing that right here. Yeah. Okay. But it's the body. The body. You guys understand how the I'm gonna show this one more time because most people don't get this. I remember I asked Timothy one time years ago at TOC. I said, he's like, oh yeah, I teach wrestling guys all the time. I said, well, remember this? Yeah. And I said, well, how do you teach? He goes, well, you kind of like this and you go like that. Remember that? Yeah. And I was like, there's not more to it than that.
That's still how I thrust. They just don't see it coming. Because you also tell me, see how slow that was, and you didn't see it. It's so slow.
When I talk about the hand pushes it, the point off the target, like I just did there a couple times, I wasn't doing this on purpose. I was literally missing, right? Okay? Because my technique was a little off. But what happens is when we thrust, especially an extended range thrust, the ergonomics of how the hand works is it's right at the target, right at the target, right at the target. Now it starts to push. You see how it went over there? Right? Yeah, there's ways to fix that. You can supinate, and then you're here, or you do a center line, right?
What happens if you don't hold it? Could you open up your hand?
Yes. So the more you open up the hand, the more you're able to do that. 100%. But if you open up your hand too much on the 10,
That's going on.
yeah.